out to Tempest because she has Nonprofits Are Us, and Nonprofits Are Us helps make nonprofits profitable.
Right.
I have no clue about nonprofits, and College Bound is actually a nonprofit organization. And when I reached out to her, she said, "Hey, just a thought. You don't have to say yes immediately, but would you mind making College Bound a part of? Would you mind making College Bound a program in the church?"
Wow.
Well, there was no reason to say no. So I instantly said yes. And basically, what college this tells, and so this is the proposal for College Bound for the church. So it's telling you what College Bound is, what we will assist with, funding and partnership, and what our next step and our additional features are. So College Bound is a program to assist college freshmen with essentials to get acclimated into their dorm room. If they're staying on campus, or if they're even from another state, college freshmen are required to live on campus. That much I know. I didn't attend college, but I know some rules. I learned. I had friends that way.
Right.
And a lot of families, they struggle just to get them to school. Like my brother was one of those. He had some scholarships, but he couldn't apply for financial aid because my mom made too much. So everything came out of pocket. His dorm room, his tuition, everything came out of pocket.
Food,
exactly.
Everything.
So my dad covered his housing while my mom covered tuition. He had your standard. Like he had, every college dorm comes with the standard little twin size bed, a little empty room. I had friends that went to U of H. They have a community shower. Sometimes students don't know. Yeah, you need the little carry case, so sometimes they may have it in a plastic bag.
Right.
They may be, So what College Bound does is we help with the dorms. We help with the bedding. We help with the cost of getting the bedding, just the little stuff that they need, And this is like a what will assist. So I actually found. Oh, I was so happy. A college checklist.
Oh, okay.
And so it tells you what they need, like lamps, alarm clocks, mini trash cans, storage bins. So this helps, and this is what we'll help them with. And it will be different packages. Like if you want just the bedding package, you can get the bedding. If you need all of the little essentials, like a dry erase wallboard, I would have never thought of that. So College Bound, that's what we do, like pillows, towels, mattress pads,
Yeah, I was like, how did she think about that dry erase board?
It was on the checklist. I was excited. I was like, okay. Picture hangers, if you want to hang your pictures, clothes hangers, laundry baskets, the little fold, and that's what we help with. They have to worry about books and things like that. So I wanted to help make that part easier for their transition. As I was doing this, I came up with something else. Well, basically, I want us to be able to partner with places like Walmart, and then eventually partner with places like H-E-B and Target. The reason H-E-B is in that picture because I want us to eventually grow into helping on a consistent basis. So if there's a student who may, for that month, don't have the funding for food, they didn't have the funding for a meal ticket. Yeah, I know about the meal tickets too. Like,
Right.
they can come to us and apply, just for our help. So what if they don't qualify for food stamps as a college student? What if their parents for that month can't afford to send them food money?
Right.
They can go to a College Bound. They can go online, go to the College Bound program, apply, and we can give them a voucher, and they can go to H-E-B. That's why I want to partner with someone like H-E-B, because their foods are fresher. Like H-E-B, and I forgot to put in here like Whole Foods.
Right.
So they can have health. They can live healthy. My brother lived off of ramen noodles, sandwiches, and peanut butter sandwiches.
I can believe that.
So with that, and I know there's a lot of kids that go to college, and like freshman year, they either gain a massive amount of weight or they lose a massive amount of weight because they're eating the wrong stuff or they're not eating at all.
Right.
So I'll eventually want us to grow into being able to give them vouchers for food, and they can go to places like Walmart, H-E-B, Whole Foods, and give them the voucher and go get the foods that they need.
That's amazing. You did a good job on that. I read it. I was like, wow. She put all this together. You did a good job.
So there's the grocery assistance. I want to help with book assistance as well. There are some books that cost the same as somebody's car note.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
she's in college. So that's actually a good point. So since she's actively in college right now, you should write down some of her struggles, and we try to address it.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
I'm not even done yet, though. I'll throw you another curveball. But what are some of your struggles right now? You're almost have your associates, and you're working on your bachelor's at the same time, right? So go.
Well, college is hard. Me and a lot of people in my class, the girls, they don't have gas money to get to school every day. Child care to go to school. Books are very, very high. Just my coding book was $650.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry.
That's how it works.
That's rent.
Just my coding
For real.
book. And so, yeah, and that comes, they update that every year, so I have to buy it every year to be able to code.
You might want to teach people how to understand financial aid and student loans.
Right. That is correct.
Thank you.
All right, I'm not done. I'm not even close to that. I got some stuff. Is there a clear written out mission statement? All right, so no, just put it down. Put it. You're building a ministry for the church, college bound. Clearly written out mission statement, and you want a vision statement, and just real simple. I'm not having you do this because it's typical. I'm having you do it because when you tell me, when you come present it to me, and you say, "Hey, here's the mission," you're gonna have thought this out.
Okay.
Now, I want you to define what your win is. And I'll explain here in a second. You should write that down. Define your win. Your win is the moment you celebrate. In particular, the Church for the Unchurched mission statements goes exactly like this: to create a church atmosphere where church people feel comfortable enough to invite their unchurched friends. So we don't celebrate when a guest comes. That's not that we're just like, whatever, right? We're happy, we're grateful, but that's not the win. The mission statement says, when someone who has been churched all their life goes out and says, "Listen, I found the perfect church for you, Sparkle."
Right.
None of that and whatever they're going to say, right? None of this, none of this, none of this. There's no dress code, there's no whatever, right? Whatever talking points you have. Then when the church people invite their unchurched friends and they show up, that's the win for this organization.
Right.
You get me?
Mm-hmm.
That's when we go, yes, we have a baptism to do, or we reconnected someone for a long time. So you're going to define your win. Is the win when you make a college student happy, or is it something deeper and further than that? You don't have to answer now, but do you see how difficult that question is?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not difficult. You can come up with an answer in 5 minutes. But then what's going to be difficult is, does this answer feel good with what I'm trying to do, right? So the answer is not difficult. I'm just forcing you to think past the average thoughts. We don't want an average harvest. Get it?
The win for me would be relieving the stress of the parents and the students.
All right. So you put parents in there, which makes it more difficult, which now puts you at a higher goal. That's good. That means almost all these ministries, these sections that you're going to be doing, need to have something in mind for parents. You just said it. Now, do we want our kids just to get degrees, or do we want them to be better in life as a human being?
The latter.
Here's one of the issues I had. Did you finish listing out your issues in college?
I was just gonna say some people need counseling.
Okay, counseling. And what else?
I don't know right now.
I know the only issue I had in college is commuters had no place. See, you're in she lives in the same city where the college is. It's not too far, so everyone's a commuter, so to speak. There are some people that live in the dorms, you get it, but everyone's particularly a commuter. In our case, I drove 50 miles to school and then 50 miles back, right? Yes, hey, I drove 50 miles to school, 50 miles back. Come on, sit down. You can have some of this church conversation.
Oh, yes, yes. Yes.
And all that campus life had nothing to do with me. Like, I didn't have any opinions about it. I never knew when stuff was going on. Those campus, they do all sorts of free stuff like free pancakes at this time. Well, yeah, it was at like, sometimes it was at 7 in the morning. Like, what commuter is going to leave their house at 5 to fight through Houston traffic
Just to get some pancakes.
just to get some pancakes when my first class don't start until 10, 9:30, right? That just doesn't make sense. And that's pretty much the whole experience. Now, although in this area you won't necessarily have to deal with a commuter issue, because it's right, you want to pick your colleges. You got Galveston College in this area, then you got College of the Mainland, okay? College of the Mainland in this area, okay? What equivalent of commuter issues would they have that they don't feel connected to the college because they're not in the dorms? One would be age, wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
She's not 18.
I'm not.
She looks 20, but she's not 18. You get it? She's not in the in crowd of the college. So what programs would you have for your older college?
Wow.
You get it? Especially the ones that are parents.
College bound for the adult.
That's on you. I'm not building it. You're building it. I'm just, you feel me? Now you're being inclusive to some stuff you wouldn't necessarily thought about.
Second time student.
Well, you can call us, there's some second time students, but you're a first time college student, aren't you?
Yeah.
That was the first time. I didn't go to college until I was 30.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
College bound.
I
for
just
the
did it all so fast. I just did the bachelor's and master's so
Oh
fast.
my goodness.
Yeah. I did the bachelor's in 3 years flat, and I did the master's in 1 year, pretty much. I took a 3-year master's and did it in about a year and a half, but it was one. Basically, I graduated May 2014 with my bachelor's, and I graduated December 2015 with my master's. So I did.
You really are
all
smart.
Well, yeah. Smart, and I was driven, right? So that was a little bit more than a year, but according to my class rings, one says 14, one says 15.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was never included. I was never a part of my college.
Is that what you're talking about, including people in college?
And that's what I brought up. That's the one problem I had.
What about the older people going back to college?
That's
That's what
what
you
we
yep.
talking
Oh,
about.
okay.
What brought it up is I had a crazy dream.
You too?
And in this dream, I was actually talking to a mutual associate of all of ours, and they wouldn't help me. So I was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'll do it myself. I don't need your help. I was talking about a nonprofit organization called College Bound
Oh,
to help college students transition and make sure they have what they need outside of tuition and housing. So basically like bedding and little essentials like the little carrier that they need to carry their what they the personal care products to the group showers and back
Shower, shoes, hygiene.
Hygiene. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. So, and that's what we're talking about. And I of course, I reached out to Tempest because she's the nonprofit expert.
And also a support group.
Well, y'all don't even know it yet. She's not just a nonprofit expert. She is
University.
No. Well, I have her guiding this church from an expert point of view that keeps me with fresh ideas. And also, she monitors my sermons, my call to actions. So if my call to action doesn't seem genuine, she lets me know. If my sermon, not from a theological perspective, but from a
Empathic.
Yes, an empathic perspective, right? And so I basically, in this rebuild, I put some checks and balances on myself because I want to make sure that I am not pushing away your effort. Because you have to go out there and engage, and then conversate, and then engage again, and then get people to trust you. In a 25-minute sermon, I got to start that whole process back over again. You get it? You get days and months. I can ruin it in 25 minutes. Right? So that's part of the burden of being a leader, right? So I have to re-engage who you have engaged. And so that's one of the things. So she's not just a nonprofit expert. I have her company, and we are, I'm glad to say this, to the point where, and this is a paid service, every month, she's basically a growth advisor, right? So every month, we take 10% of our offerings and we tithe it to our growth advisors company, so they can continue to get the best resources, etc.
Absolutely.
She set up a sales funnel for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. She set up for the church, like not for the business.
Okay,
for the
I'm
church.
See,
For the church, so we can track when a new guest comes and their whole like business. It works for business, why it's not working for the church. Anyway, so that's good stuff.
And that's where I had to do a proposal because she asked me to send a proposal because she asked me if I would consider making it one of the programs we offer at the church. Checks and balances.
There we go.
Okay, I got it.
Everything is. Anything else?
On the part, because you also have this too, where it says additional features / next steps, we want to eventually grow it into not only the grocery assistance and the book purchase assistance, but travel assistance. Because sometimes kids stay home from holidays because their parents can't afford to bring them home. Like my brother literally spent his entire summer working.
That's true.
Because to come back home and to go back, it was going to be costly, number one.
That's true.
You know.
I've done that a few times. Yeah, I've done it a few times. So that's very true. That's very true. So let's move to the last part then. This is implementation. So this is where I come in. In order to keep this not some meeting that you went, yay, we came up with something new and don't do nothing. I need this full presentation that you're writing down. I need it finalized in the next 48 hours.
Okay.
But you can't do it yourself.
Right.
Who do you have to do it with?
Sparkle.
All right. Now, would you like to be a part of this?
My schedule won't permit me.
That's
I don't
okay.
want. Is there some small thing that you need me to do? I could,
If you,
but I got a newsletter deadline tonight at midnight, and then I
It's
work
okay.
tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right now, your ministry is showing up for Bible studies
Thank you.
and services. Get it? That's your ministry. Because when they invite people to church, when I invite people to church, we don't want to have just the Holy Spirit here.
Yes, sir.
Get it?
Yes, sir.
We want We want
I'm
you
working
here.
on moving to nights.
Alright, and we want. Well, no.
I'm
That's,
trying it out this week,
that's not the point.
but I know, but it
The-
would benefit me as well.
Well, it would benefit you, but there is a valuable point here. When you invite your star guests that you know will really make an impact in the church, you want us here, don't you?
Yes, even though if I can't.
Even if you can,
Even
right?
if I can.
No one wants to invite someone to church and then, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know they was not going to be there before you. And no one wants to do that. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
But right now, I'm telling you, your ministry isn't this.
I invite them to Bible study so I can be there.
Well, there you go. But your leadership doesn't come in the form of coming up with ideas because you don't have time. I'm attempting here to liberate you. I'm liberating you that you don't have to be a part of every single thing. And I'm liberating you that you don't have to feel bad that people can't. It's just on us, right? You don't have to. Nobody has to feel anything like that. You get to go to work. It's cool, or go to whatever, right? Now, here's what's important. We all have a place and a proper place, and it's all important because we need you to show up. I'm not saying you don't show up. When this starts working, we want a body in the church, right? Because we're that small. You get it? Likewise, I'm saying her ministry of I can't do that but just small things is equally as big as all the big things. That's what Jesus was saying. On this day, this one was justified. It's the only time that he uses justification in the gospel. Okay, that's a theological thing. I won't go into it. It's when the tax collector and the sinner meet in the synagogue. One guy, tax collector, Lord, thank you for making me rich, which is actually in the Bible. Okay. Thank you for making me, because I give to the poor, I help women, I am devout in your word. I do all these great things, and I am not like this sinner.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it says. And the sinner doesn't even acknowledge what the guy said. He looks up to us to heavens, beats his chest, this is literally word for word in the Bible, and says, Lord, forgive me, I am a sinner. In the translation. In Greek, it says, Lord, forgive me, I am the sinner. As if to say,
You're the only one.
you don't have one like me.
Oh,
I think that's
I'm
how
the.
we all feel.
They sin, but I am the sinner. What I've done. And it doesn't even lift his head. He just does it. It says forgiveness. And then Jesus says, today, this sinner goes home justified. Which is a real strong theological, goes home saved. Goes home with my righteousness put on him. Okay? He goes home clean, guilty, but covered with none guilt. So get breakdown of justification, okay? And of course, the righteous tax collector does not go home. Yeah. The reason I'm saying that is because I've done this long enough. I'm 7 years in the game. I'm working on number 8 now, okay? I've done this long enough to know, I'm not saying that you are this way, I'm not saying you're this way, but, oh man, it's always us. We never get to get no help. I'm not saying you're saying this. 2 years from now, you will. And I just killed it. Because I just gave you permission to let her be busy. And I gave you permission to be busy, but you show up. That's a sermon. You know what I'm saying? Now, 2 years from now, I ain't got to worry about, you feel what I'm saying? Some feelings you've been harboring that started. And you can say another thing. I remember a long time ago, when we first sat
It
down,
might be reversed one day.
I killed both sides.
Yes, sir.
And I killed it with Christ.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you would have did that. You're far from it. And you're the right people. But you get the point.
Mm-hmm.
You have the right to say, but that very little, according to Jesus, is justified. When you show up, you're going to show up, and Jesus is going to say, I put my righteousness on her. because she showed up when she had very little. There's another one.
Oh yeah.
There's a lady that gave two mites, right? And it took 2 mites.
2 months.
Everybody else's, boom. You know, they got these little jars and you drop it in right. You know, you do all this fancy stuff. You know what I'm saying? Do all this fancy stuff and it goes down. You drop it in all well. And then, because it made a noise when it dropped in. All she could do was drop in a little bit, as you just said. And again, Jesus goes, this lady gave the most today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be afraid of what you can just do. Because in the eyes of the Lord, it's the most.
Mm.
Get it? Because you don't have much. But what you have, you freely give. Peter and James said that. Silver and gold have I none. But such as I have,
give I thee.
give I thee. That's King James. Basically, out of King James. I ain't got no money. But I got Christ. Get up and walk. Because I believe you can. I think that's a good jumping off point. I want y'all to keep y'all little Bible lesson I accidentally gave y'all.
Yes.
Okay? Good?
Yes, sir.
48 hours, I'm going to need that.
Okay.
And then, what's the day? Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
So that means Saturday, you got to be done. And I want a full presentation on it Monday.
Okay.
Like PowerPoint stuff. It'll have to be PowerPoint.
Okay.
But I want a presentation. That means y'all will have to get together the weekend and present this to me.
Okay.
Good stuff. All right. I think we out of here. Appreciate you.